Hey, peace and blessings to you. My name is Jerry B. I am the entree musician, and so are you. And so is this wonderful brother we're presenting for today's episode, jazz guitarist. I'm telling you, an extraordinary guitarist, recording artist, performer, orchestrator, arranger, and educator. This brother has worked with Abraham Laboriel, Justo Almario, Harry Kim, George Shelby. He has helped establish several music schools in Providence, Rhode Island, Boston, Los Angeles, and Mexico. He's originally from Guatemala, but now makes his home in California. This is my new best friend, David Martinez. Brother, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. Thank you for that introduction. Mention a couple of things that I didn't know. I'm just kidding.
Well, I tell you what, man, it's been such a time where we've put this on the books maybe 3 months ago or so. It was quite a while, and the day has finally come. And I thought I would have 150 questions for you, and I only have like 2. Okay, it's like, how in the world do you play the guitar so incredibly well? You give those strings a voice all of their own. How did you pick up your style to do that?
Well, let me start with how did I pick my instrument first. That was a long time ago. I was 10 when my father, when you're 10, you don't make your own decisions, of course. And
Yeah.
my father decided that I was going to study piano. And my oldest brother was going to study guitar.
Mhm.
And then the first day of classes, my father has to be, I don't remember, but he has something else. And so another friend of him took us to the music school. And where we're signing up, my brother, being the older brother, he decided that he was going to study piano and I was going to study guitar. And that's why I started studying guitar. So he changed my future there.
So
Yeah.
you blame it on your older brother, but
Yeah.
it's amazing. But I hear so many incredible guitarists. For example, there's George Benson, there's Wes Montgomery, there's Norman Brown. I mean, we could go on and on. There's Paul Jackson Jr. But you seem to have just this voice. That's David's voice. How did you come about acquiring that? That's the
Well,
question.
thank you. I appreciate that. Well, yeah. Um, well, I think I got really interested in one of my first styles probably was funk, like
Mhm.
Tower of Power style,
Yeah.
and then I started getting more into smooth jazz, incognito, and that's thanks to my friend now and my first instructor in Guatemala. When I decided to go to Berklee, he trained me for 3 years. His name is Germán Giordano,
Huh.
and he gave me all this list of music that I have to start listening, and I got into it like. But then I tried to. It was him, and there is another friend that mentioned it. You should try to copy parts from other instruments on
Mm.
your guitar.
Mhm.
And of course, I start with bass. While I was studying in Boston, I started listening to Victor Wooten and Reggie Wooten, and I heard how they, do some similar stuff on guitar and bass. So I started copying that stuff on my guitar.
Yeah.
But then I decided why not? I start copying horns lines on my guitar, and then some rhythms on my guitar and mixing it with mutes and all that stuff. And then I just started recording these ideas and try to play the different sounds from the strings. Like something I was experimenting was playing slap guitar on a nylon strings.
Oh my.
So yeah, and it's try and error, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But sometimes when it works, a composition comes from that, and I write it and I arrange it, I compose it, and of course, I think everybody it's influenced by the styles around. But I think there is a point when you get all these influences, and if you just keep playing and try to look for something new, I think you'll find your own voice. And
Oh yeah.
I don't think I did it in purpose. Like I'm gonna try to look for my sound. I was just trying new stuff. I want to try and try, and yeah. Now that I mentioned, I look at my stuff, and yeah, I like to play with different time signatures, and um, I even last time I was playing a slap on a Puerto Rican cuatro. I don't know, it's like a small instrument, So call me crazy, but it sounded good, so why not?
So musical. That's absolutely right. Well, now, how long were you in Guatemala before coming to the United States? Did you come as a child or after you became an adult?
Well, I actually went to Boston, from Guatemala to Boston when I was 20.
When you
I
were
was
20?
direct to study there. Yeah.
Hmm.
I was 20, and then my plan was to go back to Guatemala. Of course, my family was there, and I came alone. And well, I'm gonna study, I'm gonna finish, and I'm gonna go there. But yeah, of course, after a couple of years, and I visited LA before Boston,
Hmm.
and then my plan kind of changed. I'm like, no, I think I'm going to LA after I finish. And so I never went back to Guatemala. I mean, I visit,
Yeah.
sometimes, but yeah, I kind of like LA. I moved here. I definitely didn't plan to stay in Boston because it's so cold.
Right.
And as soon as I think, yep, that didn't work. Yeah.
Oh, that's excellent. So it was when you moved from Boston over to LA. Is that when you were you doing session work then? Is that when you began to meet people like Abraham and Usto or?
Yeah, you know what? I moved here to LA in 2005, and
Mhm.
first band I played with when I got here, it was Crastafari.
Mm.
I had a friend that told me that they were auditioning, and it was great. I played reggae before, but not that much. And I was
Yeah.
playing reggae like one song on a set or something like that just for fun. But this was different. That was reggae. The whole set was reggae. So it
Yeah.
was new for me. It was a good experience. Really nice people, uh, believers,
Yeah.
and the mission was so good. Go use the music and teach others about what Jesus was done in us and everything. So it was so good. I was with them for 3 years,
Yeah.
but yeah, then while I was here, I started getting in touch with people here, visiting some sessions, going to studio and connect with people. There was a producer. He passed away a couple of years. His name was Eric Bullin. He was a
Mhm.
good friend here. That was one of the first producers that I met him in LA, and he introduced me to a lot of people
Yeah.
just because he was nice. He wanted to introduce me to people. Just, no reason at all. He said, yeah, what, let's come here and meet people. That's how all started. And yeah, so you see, that's how I got to meet Abraham, Justo Almario, and all these people that I got the blessing to know now.
Yeah, there's fantastic videos that you have with Abraham. I mean, you guys appear to be like old friends and just chums, and you blend so well together when you're playing. It's fantastic.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. We're just about to release one song that we did in 2020 before the whole pandemic started.
Hmm.
We started this project, and it was supposed to be more songs, but we did three on that session, and one of them is because I invited my friend, my German Giordano, the one that I mentioned before. Um, I invited him. He was a key person that I think God put on my path. To open doors for me when I was 16, probably. And I wanted to honor him. I wanted to do something with him. So I invited him to here to LA, and that's why we did that session with Abraham. I wanted him to play with Abraham and do something together. And we recorded three songs, two of that he composed, one that I did. So we're gonna release the one of the he wrote in a
Yeah.
couple of weeks, and with Abraham and him, and it was just great. So we're planning to go back to this project probably by, I don't know, by June or July this year, and start getting more songs down.
That is fantastic. And you've put together a killer band too. I mean, and your band is international actually from everywhere. So you want to tell us a little bit about the band? I mean, cuz you guys are as tight as a drum, man.
Thank you. Yeah, well, on that last recording that we did, I think my friend Sean, I met him when I was doing my master's here in LA, master's in composition. I met him there. He's a drummer. He's from Taiwan. So yeah, you're right. It goes from everywhere. So yeah, he's from Taiwan. Then of course Abraham was on that recording. My friend
Hmm.
Herman from Guatemala on the guitar.
Right?
UTL piano player. I met him in Boston, but he lives here now in LA. He's from Puerto Rico. So yeah, we have a lot of flavors there. And then you have the horn section that they're from here, but same thing,
Mm.
from everywhere. My friend Jorge Najarro, he's on percussion. He's from Cuba. So yeah, we have a lot of people there.
You have the United Nations in your band, man. You know.
Yeah, yeah. But it's fun because you know what? It brings different, I want to say, colors to the music, to the arrangement. Like, we recorded the main band together. Sometimes you know how it goes now. We part here, part there, and you go
Right.
from one place to another one. But um we decided to go to the studio, the whole band, and recorded it. Everybody got the arrangement like a couple of days in advance just to get the idea, listen to it. But I wanted to play it live and to see what's gonna change live. What's his reaction with everybody. And yeah, of course. I mean, the first one to start getting into the groove was Abraham. So we kind of changed the solo section, the solo section, because he started doing something different, and you start to react to that. And then Sean on drums started doing something too, and the whole thing changed. The structure kept the same, but
Right.
the groove, the ideas, the improvisation was fun because there is nothing written there, and the group changed from what we rehearsed, and that's the fun part to recording live. But again, you learn from Uziel doing some Latin stuff on the piano, on a funk song, and
Right.
it's fun. So yeah, we definitely enjoy it.
Wow. Were you looking at after the recording is done? Are you looking at perhaps going on tour? You know, taking this brilliant band on the road, or what do you want to
Well,
do?
you know what? I put the band together just for the recording. Sometimes I go out on my own. Like, we're planning to probably do something in summer, maybe in Guatemala with Uciel.
Hmm.
But you know how it is now. It's especially with this kind of musicians that they have a full schedule. It's hard to plan. I would definitely like to put that band on a tour, but
Sure.
it is when I do that kind of stuff, I usually take just UCL with me and then try to put a band together where we go.
Yeah.
First, again, because it's schedule, and then well, cost, and you know how it is, planes and everything now. But yeah, I mean, if I could get that the whole band, yeah, I was planning to do it maybe here. We'll do a couple of live events here in LA,
Okay.
but traveling is different. But I was planning, I was just talking to Sia last week. We're planning to do something in summer this year, a
That's
couple
good.
of concerts here to present all the whole project.
That's excellent. Well, you got to tell me how you got into orchestration, because when you got to Berklee. By the way, we forgot to mention when you went to Boston, you enrolled in Berklee School of Music. But so were you already into orchestration and arrangement at that time, or was it just primarily guitar? What was that journey like?
Well, you know what? So I think the whole thing started with, um, Berkeley. It was definitely a blessing. I was there because I got a scholarship to go there.
Uh-huh.
So one of the deals was that I have to be enrolled full time every
Ah,
semester. So sometimes, if the deal was, if I don't get enrolled full time, then I have to pay for the units. But I mean, why not? I was there to study, so yeah, let's do full time.
that's right.
So some of the semesters, they didn't offer all the classes that I was supposed to take, so I would just take. Well, I started with arranging for three horns, arranging for six horns, arranging for a small strings ensemble, and I want to experiment. I want to just try it one semester, but then I like it, and that's
Yeah.
when I started writing my own music because I was there for performance more than composition.
Yes.
But then I started to write my own music. I started working with different instruments and learn how to write for every instrument. And
Yeah.
so my major there was performance. But when I got here, um, I saw an opportunity to do a master's in composition or performance. And one of the instructors told me, "Well, you already have degree in performance from Berkeley, so you should try composition."
Hmm.
I didn't have a full background on composition, so that's the reason I didn't apply, because I didn't have material to actually apply for the master. But again, I definitely believe that God takes control of everything.
That's
He
right.
put this person, and He's like, you know what? Let me help you. Let's do an audition. Let's write something, and yep, they gave me the okay to do the master in composition, and that's where I learned more about strings and orchestration, and I definitely love it. I love
Yeah.
to write for the strings and orchestra. So it
My
was
goodness.
something new. I never planned it when I started in music, but definitely most of the time I'm writing now. I definitely like to play and record, but I this is my very much my panorama the whole day. That's what I'm
Yeah.
writing here, and yeah.
Wow. That's beautiful, man. That's a great story. And it is a journey of just, you just open up for one particular situation, this performance, and then a whole new world opens up for you. That's fantastic. Absolutely. And I'm sure that's the impetus that helped you start these music schools that you helped to establish. So tell us a little bit about that and your work in putting schools all around the country, man, and in
Well,
Mexico.
yeah. Well, teaching. It's I don't know. I always like that. That started when I was in Guatemala. When I started probably teaching there when I was 17, 19. The few chords or scales that I knew, I started teaching to other people's, and like on the local church that I was going, I started teaching other friends and kids there. My father is being a professor at the university for, I think, for 45 years or something like that
Mm,
already. He should be retired, but it's a different topic. We'll talk about that later. But I kind of like, sometimes I used to go with him. He was teaching. I kind of like the way he interact with the students, and I see the like the success, of teaching others and feel good about what, helping others. And I kind
yeah.
of that kind of did something in me. So when I had the opportunity to start teaching, I kind of like it, and I started teaching. And then that's what I knew how to teach, I guess. So when I got to Boston, I needed some income. Well, there were some openings in a music school, so I started teaching. And after that, they gave me an opportunity to actually open a program on my own in
Mm,
Rhode Island, in Providence. Good friends of mine, Santiago and Kayla, and they have this small music school, but they wanted to open it like on a different level, and
yeah.
they gave me an opportunity. Something that I again, Herman suggested when I was studying with him, my friend Herman Giordano, is like, what, you should always write when you're practicing. You should write with something new, an idea, or you should write and keep it there on your music staff paper and everything. And I did it. So one of the first things that I did when I was in Berklee was learn how to use Finale, the writing software.
Yeah. Finale.
So every time I was practicing, I was writing that. And then as soon as I have a lot of teaching material, that I started using my own material. And that got me into something that I've been doing too, which is writing material for music schools. I find out I love it. I had to find different ways to teach something, to make it easier, to find other way for people to understand. If they don't get it this way,
Yeah.
find some other way to. I like that. So that got me into writing more material music for teaching.
Hmm.
I opened my own music school in 2010 when I was here.
Yeah.
It's called Coda Music Academy. We kind of closed the classes, like the location, on 2020. Again, my schedule kind of changed with the arrangements and writing music, so we decided to keep it just online for now. I do some master classes sometimes here locally
Yes.
through the school to Coda Music, but I still teaching and writing for other music schools. But I've been teaching for a long time. I definitely love to teach.
I see that. Absolutely. Well, you get it from your father, the professor.
Yeah,
So.
yeah.
Now, all of the schools called the same thing across, in Providence and Boston and LA, or they have different names? They're
No,
each.
they actually they have their own name. It's
Oh,
not.
I
It's
see.
we keep the relation, but it's not the same chain. Like in Providence, the first one, I think that was called Melody Music School,
Hmm.
and I was hired as the director first, and then helped them to do the program there. Same thing, for example, when I went to Mexico, I went to play with this great drummer, a great friend. His name is Alvaro Lopez, and he's a well-known drummer in Latin America. And he decided to open this music school, so I moved to Mexico for a year, just to open the program with him. I was
Wow.
in charge with him, in charge with the program to develop the whole program.
Yeah.
And then same thing. As soon as I finished, I came back. But it was not until 2010 when I decided to actually open my own music school, which is Coda.
My goodness. Well, tell me, what has been the most challenging thing that's ever happened for you in music, where you can look back over these couple of decades and go, that was the one that was really an obstacle, but here's how I got over.
Oh, a couple. Let me see. Uh, well, I think like well, let me start with one. I mean, we will from there, but like the
Sure.
first one that I can think of, it's when I came from Guatemala to Boston. Well, excited about, well, I'm going to study at Berkeley, and who's not excited about that?
Right.
But then, like, a few weeks later, I realized that, well, I'm here on my own. So no family, and that make it a little bit difficult, and
Sure.
but the I always have my parents, on my side. You know what, you can do it. I actually, one time, at the beginning, I was trying to go back to Guatemala. I was like, you know what, I don't think I can make it. And I remember I called my mom, and it was Friday, because my dad was out for the weekend. I told her, you know what, I think I'm going back. And she's like, being a mom, yeah, I guess, okay, we miss you, yeah, come back. And then I'm just calling Monday for your ticket, and we talk to your father. And when I call on Monday, I'm ready to get my ticket or something. And my dad is like, yeah, you know what, I'm sorry, but you're not coming back. Like, wait, what do you mean? No, you're there. I don't want to see you here because you're gonna regret it, really. So just keep going, try. And you know what? Years later, I'm here. I always remember that, because he's been like that always. No, when you start something, you have to finish it,
Yes,
and
sir.
he's like that. So that yeah, that probably, that was one of the first one when I started this journey.
Well, that's typical of mom and dad. I mean, it really is, because the mom is like, "Yeah, we miss you. We're gonna
Yeah.
nurture you," and dad is going like, "No, stand on your
Nope.
own 2 feet."
Yeah. 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 It is. But I definitely appreciate that now. I definitely. It was good. It was good.
Well, what would you say then would be your to date has been the highest triumph for you? That moment in music where you really thought, yeah, this is what it's all about. You've already explained your passion for teaching and the joy that you get from sharing what you know with others. Has that been the apex for you, or was there a moment when you go, dude, Abraham is right over there on the bass, man? I mean,
Yeah.
what has been that moment?
I think it's funny that you mentioned, because that's been one of the moments. You have different moments in life when you feel, okay, that's fine. I did it. I made it. And but then, oh, this is the moment. But there are a couple, like, yeah, for example, my album. I'm doing my second album now. It's been just singles, and then, but when I was working on the first album, it was, I don't know, a couple of years thinking like, oh, should I compose it? Should I just do everything MIDI? And then that's when I met Uciel, working with Uciel, and he's
Yeah.
helping me. Uh, and then we're just planning how to do this, just piano, guitar, and add everything, samplers, and you know how it is, MIDI here, MIDI there.
Right.
And then I play this event, and I meet Abraham, and we start talking, and then, a few months later, it's like, so who's recording bass on your album? I was like, oh no, we're doing samplers, and he's like, why? I mean, I can do it. I'm like, so that's one of the moments. But then the huge one is when you hear the album, and it's like, oh, Abraham is there. I mean, and it's on you can't believe it. It's like, it definitely. And he told me something the first time I met him, because I remember I told him, you know what, I admire you since I was a kid, and so it's a pleasure to meet you, and I would like to go with you for a breakfast one of these days, just to get to know you. And
Yeah.
he told me, okay, when? Just make it happen. When
Mm.
you want to do something, make it happen. And like,
Wow.
I was like, okay, tomorrow. And that's how we started. Following day having breakfast, and that's how we started. And that's one of the huge moments, because I kind of remember that when I'm stuck in something like projects or life.
Yeah.
It's like, what, make it happen. I mean,
Mm.
if you have the tools, if you're alive, I mean, make it happen. And just go for it. So, and worst can thing that happen is you have to try again, I guess, but yeah, that's probably one of the moments.
That's just a beautiful moment right there, and I think that what you said was a mouthful, because hey, if you're getting stuck on something and you're alive and you have breath in you, you can make it happen. You can make the decision and just push through it. And a lot of times we don't think that way. We think that we're in this self-imposed prison and there's no way out and there's no hope. That is not the case at
Yeah.
all. So, what would you tell a young David Martinez who's coming up, who's 20 years old, and who has the world in front of him? What advice would you give that young man standing where you are right now?
Well, that's that would be, hey, keep practicing,
Right.
Yeah, probably, it's yeah, I probably would say, hey, don't be afraid, of trying, because I honestly think I start trying into the to actually achieve things. I don't want to say it this way, but I don't know if it, but I kind of start trying kind of late. I
Mm,
think so. Like, funny you say mid 20s, because that's on my 20s. That's when I got to Berklee,
right.
and I was afraid to try an audition for this or try to play on this ensemble because it's too advanced, and sometimes I just didn't do it. I didn't even try.
Mm,
And so that would probably, yeah, I would, you know what, I would tell me, hey, David, just go and try, and if you don't make it, whatever, you try at least, so
absolutely.
and that's actually something I told to my kids now, it's like, yeah, start doing it, start trying. You fail, whatever, just try again.
Absolutely. No, that's great advice. Now we met David in the Famehackers group with Isabella Bedoya, and you know it's interesting. So this is not a twisted question. I'm really actually trying to form how to ask it appropriately because of the accomplishments that you have acquired in your career. What was the one thing that brought you to the Fame Hackers? Because I'm thinking, I'm not a novice myself, but well, I'm not to the point where I want to be, and I could see where Jerry would be sitting in Izzy's class, but David and all of the accomplishments. I was just wondering what drew you to her class, and what are you hoping to accomplish and add to an already storied career? I think I asked that correctly.
Yeah, yeah, well,
Yeah,
no, you're right. And honest question and honest answer, I mean,
yeah,
it's, I'm bad with social media,
I see.
so that's how I got to there, and I mean, if Isabella hear this, she's probably gonna get mad at me or something, because you know how they tell you, hey, you have to post this and post that, and it's just, I'm trying to get in the habit of that, and I know that's the way it is. But
Yeah,
honest answer again, I'm bad with social media,
yeah.
So yeah,
Well,
that's how I got.
Well, that answers that question then, because I was just wondering, and I mean honestly, no games, no exaggeration. When I'm checking out everybody in class, and I think that's what we kind of do. We're in the Zoom room, and you say, "Oh, well, I wonder what she does," or and I'm looking up, and then I get to your videos, and I'm going, "Well, that's not right. Wait a minute." Boom! Then another video, and it's like, who is this cat right here? And you see, even in the chat room, I'm like, dude,
Yeah, I remember.
what's going on?
Yeah,
Fantastic, fantastic stuff, man. Well, I
yeah,
I look forward to any and every opportunity to either work or collaborate or whatever the Lord has, planned for us. I know that there are going to be great things coming up even this summer for you and your incredible band, along with Abraham. But I thank you for the time that you've given me today, man, and just carving time out of your schedule to talk to us here at the Entre Musician. Thank you very much.
thank you. I appreciate the invitation. It's fun, and you're a blessing, you know.
Uh, I try to be, man. I try to be, but I'm grateful because what I would like everyone to do is to check you out, to go to your website. Here's a parting note to make sure that they go to davemartinezmusic.com. Okay,
Mhm.
because there is someone else. We won't mention their name, but their name is kind of close, and it's easy to confuse the websites. But this
Mhm.
is Dave Martinez Music. This is David Martinez, exceptional jazz guitarist from Los Angeles, California, and not from Corpus Christi, Texas. We'll just say that, right?
Hey, that's great.
Well, peace and blessings to you, my friend. You have an
Thank you.
incredible day.
Thank you. You too. Take care.
Absolutely. And that's going to do it for this episode. That was David Martinez. You have to go to davemartinezmusic.com. You have to go there like right now. If you're listening to this and you're driving, pull over, hit it up on your phone, and listen to some of the magnificent music that he has shared with the world. It's been our pleasure to introduce him here on The Entre Musician, and we really wish him nothing but absolute success. Remember to pick up the book, The Path of the Entre Musician, 9 Keys to Unlock Your Mindset, Discipline, and Focus. Tell everybody you know and 12 people you don't know that you get down with the Entre Musician. Visit theentremusician.com. Join the community, and let's hang out together and have some fun. My name is Jerry B. I am the Entre Musician, but here's the thing. So are you. We will absolutely see you next time. God bless.